My name is Chad Matthews, and I'm a missional storyteller. I've traveled all over the country building friendships with men and women experiencing homelessness, capturing their stories and seeing how they live. Now I'm back home in East Texas, where I've asked 15 of my best friends to share their story of what it's like to live life on the street.
I come from a middle-class family. I'm the oldest of 3 children. I have 1 brother, 1 sister. I grew up in a home that didn't have alcoholism or any kind of abuse. The farthest back that I can remember, it was about the 5th grade, and I can remember feeling less than the other kids, and I didn't know it then, but I know what it is now. I had real low self-esteem. My clothes wasn't as good as the other kids. I was kind of shy, kind of stuck to myself. And I always bounced around to little groups and cliques in school trying to find where I fit in at. And that continued on for most of my childhood. Something was wrong with me. I didn't know what it was back then. The first drink alcohol I took, I was 9 years old. And I drank enough to change the way I felt. And I never forgot that, because I was full of fear, I was shy, I had low self-esteem, and that alcohol changed all of that, you know. And it took all of that away, and I never forgot that. When I was 13 years old, I had a step cousin that molested me at a deer camp. You know, he started fondling and play with me, and you know, I was really confused back then, and I hid that for a little while, but that really bothered me, you know, and you know, that's just something that I've carried around for a long time. When I got to be 15 or 16, I started sneaking beer and, you know, stealing money out of my dad's wallet, and you know, I started to get in trouble in the neighborhood, and I wasn't doing very good in school. Just to be honest, I just really didn't care about school. You know, I never took any books home, never done homework, because I was just a cut-up. You know, I just needed that attention, and I found early on by cutting up and acting out that you got some attention. When I turned 18 years old, I moved out of my parents' house, and I just started staying with friends of mine, and I was homeless. By that time, I was drinking and smoking a lot of marijuana, and I spent a lot of nights in my truck, you know, because I just didn't have anywhere to go. So I would go park out at Toadsuck at the river park and sleep in my truck out there. And I've stolen a lot of vehicles in my life, and I ended up stealing a car, and I drove it from Little Rock all the way to Amarillo, Texas, through Oklahoma. And that's where I got pulled over and arrested at a petrol truck stop there in Amarillo. Just to run through real quick, I've been to treatment 13 times, and I've been to prison 5 times. I've probably been in county and city jails across the southern United States probably 30 times in the last 25 years. I've been battling homelessness since 18, you know, with brief periods of sobriety. I've lived in a lot of chem-free houses, and it's progressively got worse. And the result of my addiction, my alcoholism and drug addiction, is homelessness, you know. Because when I get on the drugs and alcohol, that's all I care about is getting another drink and another drug. When I get to drinking and doing drugs, then I am a different person. I'm not the same person like sitting here talking now. I'm very dishonest and very selfish, you know. I've done a lot of stealing in my life, because you're just going to do whatever. When you get addicted to hard drugs like cocaine and methamphetamine and heroin, you're going to do whatever it takes to get the next fix. I've ate out of dumpsters, slept under bridges, you know, going days and sometimes weeks without taking a bath. The drink and the drug is more important than a place to live, food to eat, clothes to wear, a loving family, you know. you know, with all that guilt and remorse and that fear going on in your head, all you want to do is just stay as drunk and as loaded as you can so that you just kind of block that out of your consciousness. If you've been drinking and drugging as long as I have, eventually there comes a point in time where the drugs and alcohol, they don't work anymore. You can drink and use all you want, and the pain and the guilt and remorse and the suffering is just still there. And I got sober November the 12th of 2012, and up until about 2.5-3 months ago, I'd been sober 15 months and doing pretty well. And one Saturday morning on the bus there in Little Rock, the obsession to drink and use, and the obsession is a thought that overcomes all other thoughts and ideas. It's a lie that I believe, and it tells me what the drugs and alcohol is going to do for me. It doesn't tell me what they're going to do to me. And that's kind of been the broken record that I've been living the last 20 to 25 years. I do know this: if I continue living a life of an active alcoholic and drug addict, there's two options. One's going to be I'm going to be locked up for the rest of my life, and the other one is I'm going to die. What I want to do is, get sober, get me a good job, get my own place to stay, and and just live clean and sober and have some kind of peace and serenity in my life, and instead of just wandering around existing every day. The only way that I'm going to be able to sober up is through the Creator, God. I do believe in God. It's kind of like I've always believed that there is a God. It's kind of I just hadn't had the real strong belief and faith that He could do anything for me personally. So I just hope that I get to the point to where, that moment of clarity that He touches me or lets me know in some kind of way before I die out here on the street, because one fear I got, I do not want to be an example for a lot of other people. And the example I'm talking about is that this is a fatal illness, and alcoholism and drug addiction. Not only will it destroy your life and create homelessness and a lot of other problems, but it will kill you. And I just have hope that I can get out of this and allow God to help me turn my life around. Because if I can get out of the way long enough and let Him do His work, then things work out a lot better.